Time is just flying by, isn't it? A full month of the NBA season has already passed us. It's already that time for another monthly edition of Ty's Power Rankings. Welcome back or welcome to America's Sports. We are going to rank and analyze the top 10 teams in the NBA, and we'll talk about some other teams that have their stock rising and their stock lowering after the top 10. But let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into the basketball. Coming in at number 10, this is newcomers to the list. We've got the Toronto Raptors. While they did not make the top 10 for October, I did say in the video that Toronto was going to be a good team. I really couldn't figure out why people were saying that it wasn't going to work. They are deep, they are young, with some veterans on the team, and all 5 guys on the starting 5 can really score. Not to mention guys like Quickly, RJ Barrett, and Brandon Ingram are underrated passers, really. With Barnes and Pirtle at the 4 and 5, you've got a good rim protection and good defense overall. With those two overall, I mean. They have not been very good against the West. They are 1 and 3 against the West, but they're 7 and 2 versus their own conference. But one of the biggest factors for me is Toronto is 6 and 3 on the road. So 9 out of their first 13 games have been on the road, and they've been very good on the road. We've got a very small sample size at home, but if they can get better at home, which you would think that they would be, then this is going to be a playoff team. And we will get to see this because 5 of their next 6 games are going to be at home. For the rest of November, I've got them at a 5 and 3 record, which would put them at 13 and 8 overall. That's pretty good. 5 games above 500. Oh, and barring a catastrophic failure, they're going to be going on to the NBA Cup quarterfinals as well. Coming in at number 9 is a team that I believe has played slightly better in the Minnesota Timberwolves. You also got to remember that Anthony Edwards was out for a little bit of time, as they are 6 and 3 with him. It's early, but they are one of 9 teams that are getting 120 points per game or more. Points are up, and that's good for Minnesota, who is generally known as a defensive squad. For October, I had them starting at number 4, so they have dropped down 5 spots. I do have some issues with them when it comes to the bench play that I did not necessarily have in October. It seems pretty apparent that not having Nickeil Alexander-Walker was a bigger hit than we originally thought. And look, you can only play who's on your schedule, but the wins just are not great. They actually are 0 and 5 against teams that are above 500, and they're undefeated against teams that are below 500. Rudy and Conley are definitely looking older. Jaden McDaniels and Julius Randle have been able to shoulder more of the workload, but I need to see Rob Dillingham, and I need to see Jalen Clark and Terrence Chan Jr. I'm not sure why they're not getting the minutes, but there must be a reason why Coach is not willing to go to them super often. I have them a predicted record of 6 and 2 for the rest of November, which is going to put them at 14 and 7 overall, and they are going to start looking much better, other than just in the NBA Cup, of course. At number 8, I've got the 9 and 5 Atlanta Hawks. They get the nod over Minnesota because they've won 5 in a row without Trae Young. There are some people that are saying they are better without Trae Young, and while I may not be one of those people, they are seemingly much better on defense. Also, Jalen Johnson plays better when Trae is out because this is the amount that he should have the ball. In my opinion, he is their best player. I also can't say enough about what Nickeil Alexander-Walker has done for this team. Like I mentioned just a minute ago, Minnesota is really missing him right about now. And even more than I thought that they would. 14 games in, I have to say I'm a little bit surprised and impressed that they have the same record as the Cleveland Cavaliers. Also, they're really good on the road. They're even better than Toronto. They are 7 and 2 on the road to start. And they're also taking care of business against the lesser teams, something that they didn't quite do last season. But what I like most about what they're doing, we cannot forget this, is what they're doing on defense. However, for the rest of November, I've got them predicted to go 3 and 4, which is then going to put them at 12 and 9, which I think will put them either at about 10 or right outside the top 10 when we do ours next month for December Power Rankings. Moving on to number 7, I've got the LA Lakers, which is a shame for Atlanta because Atlanta beat the Lakers, but I think the Lakers are on the up and up. The fact that they are 10 and 4 overall without LeBron James, the fact that they have already played 9 games on the road and they're 7 and 2 like Atlanta on the road, but they've also shown that they've been able to win a game or two without Luka. All of this bodes well for the Lakers. Guys like Marcus Smart and Jake LaRavia are really helping out on defense. I think they're going to do very well in the NBA Cup. They might even make it to the quarterfinals here. And I've got them at a 4-1 record for the rest of November, putting them at 14-5 overall heading into December, whether LeBron steps on the court or not. The only thing I could really say about them is that their stats don't really pop out at you besides field goal percentage. Everything else is middle of the pack or not great. But this crew has had little time to play with each other, and they're still 10-4 overall. Can't take that away from them. In October, I had the Lakers at number 10, and they are number 7 now, so they've gone up 3 spots, and they might move up again for the December edition, especially if they keep on winning, and LeBron James could be back. Maybe by the time you see this video. It seems like he's close. Looking ahead to number 6, and that is the New York Knicks. And this rating is somewhat injury related, but they should still be able to score the basketball without Brunson. But I also had to factor in that the Knicks haven't won a game on the road yet, and their next 4 games are on the road, and they'll probably be without Brunson for maybe all of those games. We don't really know how severe the Brunson injury is. What I can tell you, though, is that Towns is going to dominate in that time. Having said that, this is going to be a team that probably should be no worse than the rating that they're at now for the entire season. 6 should be about the worst all year. The upcoming road schedule that I mentioned is the exact kind of road schedule you would want if you were without your star Jalen Brunson. They go to Dallas this week, and then they go to Orlando, which could be tough, but then after that they're at Brooklyn and at Charlotte. They don't turn the ball over much, they can score, and they don't foul a whole lot either, less than 21 fouls per game. They're also good at the three-point line and the free throw line, so yeah, I don't have many fears with the New York Knicks. They just got to get Brunson healthy at this point. They got 6 games left in November, and I have them going 4-2 during that span. That is going to give them a 12-7 overall record heading into December. Number 5 is the 10-5 overall Cleveland Cavaliers. I think that their rating and their record is affected by the absence of Darius Garland, who we know is going to miss a little bit more time. He has only played in 3 games, and in that 3rd game, he re-aggravated the toe, but it's not suspected to be as serious as it was the first time. But yeah, man, Cleveland is going to be fine. They're a top 5 team all the way through this year, in my opinion. Most likely. 12 of the first 15 games have been against teams that are above 500. So the schedule at some point we know is definitely going to soften up. They are also a team that gets 120 plus points per game. Basically, if you get 120 plus points per game right now in November, you're going to be a pretty good team. The only team that isn't 500 or better is Portland, but something tells me that Portland is better than what their record says. I have Cleveland at a predicted 5-2 record for the rest of November, which is going to put them at 15-7 moving into December. At number 4, I've got the Houston Rockets, who have climbed up 4 spots from October's ranking of number 8, as they do a lot of things really well. In October, I had them ranked at number 8, just because I thought it might take a little bit of time for them to get, sort of used to each other, playing together, getting the rhythm and whatnot. But that's not really been the case. It kind of has been for Reed Shepherd, but everybody else was ready to go right from the jump, even Steven Adams. They're the best offensive and overall rebounding team in the league. They go to the free throw line almost as much as the Lakers, which is top 5. And guess what? They've also got the number 1 3-point percentage in the NBA. So if you're number 1 in 3-point percentage and in rebounding, you're going to be a good team. And surprisingly, they're also one of the best at not fouling teams. It has been really fun to see this team's progression throughout the years. They're going to have to do it without Tari Eason for a while here, so they may take a slight hit on defense, but the offense is going to be just fine. 4 of their last 5 games in November are on the road, so I do have them at a 3-2 rest of November record. That is going to put them at 12-5 overall. My number 3 pick goes to the Denver Nuggets, who have been playing some awesome basketball, even though they did lose their last game, proving that Jokic and the boys are human. They're getting it done on both sides of the floor, too. They've actually been a pretty good defensive team, way better defensive team than I thought they would be. In October, I had them at number 5, so they've gone up 2 spots. I had them in the top 5, so I'm not saying that I thought they'd start off bad. I just thought it would take, a little bit of time, and it definitely has taken time for Cam Johnson. The Nuggets and Nikola Jokic are definitely getting shit done. They are so fun to watch. Aaron Gordon to really everybody. Bruce Brown. And you may know how big of a fan of Jamal Murray I am. They've got the best field goal percentage. A lot of that is because Jokic's field goal percentage and shooting numbers are just outrageous. They've got the second best point differential. Only OKC has a better one. And they are one of 3 teams that have not lost at home yet. It's just Denver, OKC, and Golden State. 3 teams that usually are really good at home to begin with. They've had 3 different players score 40 points or more. I have them with a 5-2 record for the rest of November, which is going to put them at 15-4 overall as we head into December. Number 2 is the Detroit Pistons because they deserve it. Jalen Duren is now getting 20 points per game. The squad just keeps on getting better. Some of you might be pissed that I don't have the Nuggets at number 2, but look, man, the Pistons have won a shitload of games in a row. That needs to be recognized as the best team in the East thus far. Only Boston in the Eastern Conference holds people to less points per game. And check it out, they're 4-0 against the West, including a win against the Houston Rockets. And come on, man, it's super impressive that they've been able to win without Cade Cunningham and keeping the streak alive. Isaiah Stewart and Jalen Duren have taken such leaps, and it looks like Duncan Robinson is starting to finally fill his role nicely. I did not have them ranked to start the October Power Rankings, and that's on me. That's my bad. But I've got them with a 5-2 rest of November record, and that's pretty good considering that they are going to be road tested here against some pretty good teams for the rest of the month. I will say, though, I'm banking on Cade getting back for those games. If not, they could end up going down a few spots next month. And last but not least, actually last but the best, the Oklahoma City Thunder. There is no other way to go. You literally cannot choose another team for number 1. If you do, you're absurd. They're 13-1 playing against the Pelicans tonight at the night that I'm making this. So I'm going to go ahead and just say that they're 14-1 and they've won 6 games in a row. They are number 1 in steals again, which is not surprising, but it is a little bit surprising that they're fouling less than they did a year ago. They actually don't foul that much for a great defensive team like this. Their blocks are not up there like they were last year, but I think that'll gain some momentum here coming in this next few weeks. Last year, them and the Celtics were the best at not turning the ball over, and that is still true this year so far. And they just take and make really good shots. And in my opinion, they have forced the rest of the NBA to play better basketball, better defense, and not just hurling up a shit ton of threes. Did I mention that they're doing all this without Jalen Williams, the all-defensive team member and an all-star, all-NBA caliber player? They're going to waltz right into the quarterfinals of the NBA Cup, and I don't see how they're not going to make it to Vegas. I would favor them to win the NBA Cup because I don't really know who's going to stop them at this point. Yeah, we should know who the winner of the NBA Cup is by the time we do power rankings for next month, so it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, that'd be my prediction, and it should be your prediction too, to be honest. They've also got a pretty lenient schedule for the rest of November, and I've got them to go 7-1 for the rest of November, which is going to put them at 20-2 overall. Wow. But anyways, guys, that is going to do it for this month's edition of the NBA Power Rankings. Keep following along to America's Sports for more NBA and NFL mainly coverage with some college sports sprinkled in here and there as well. That's going to do it for this video, guys. You'll see me in the next one. What does your top 10 look like? Be sure to let us know in the comments section below, and let's talk some hoops. And make sure you're subscribed too for more of America's Sports.